Yo, whether you watching from Facebook, from Twitter, click the link in my Instagram, moviepilot.com, or YouTube itself. What up, world? It's May. It's movie talk because X-Men Apocalypse came out. I decided to talk about my favorite non-Marvel Cinematic Universe Marvel movies. I think the first movie I counted was Blade in '98. You got those movies. You got the X-Men series. You got Daredevil. You got the Hulk. You got the Spider-Man series. Just number 10, just right off Jump Street, man. 2000s X-Men, the original, Bryan Singer's first movie in the series. And you might be bugging because it's insanely low on the list. But I enjoy everything higher than this one more. Simple story, man. Wolverine is fighting in that Canadian UFC octagon thing, and the dude comes with the shotgun, and he like uses his claw to slice the shotgun, and you see his claws just eke out. And back in 2000, that shit was really cool. And like Magneto was the main villain, but you already understood the dynamic between him and Professor X. And I think he needed Rogue or something. And you had Toad, you had Sabretooth, you had you had Storm with her with the weird accent that she abandoned in the sequels. Jean Grey, Cyclops. They should have just been using Gambit from this movie. Like Gambit should have been in the entire series, man. Gambit is like the most overlooked X-Men character cinematically to date. Hugh Jackman might be taller than Wolverine is in the comics, but I mean, it works, man. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. As the series has gone on, man, this movie has gotten more and more overlooked, if you ask me. At number 9, I might get a lot of disagreement with this, but I don't care. It's my list. I always encourage you guys to make your list too. At number 9, I got The Wolverine, the best and, in my opinion, only solo Wolverine movie. It takes place after The Last Stand, and he is dealing with the loss of Jean Grey, and he goes to, I want to say China, it might be Japan, to talk to this dude that he saved way back when. And just I love that it's more personal for Wolverine, and instead of being the mutant and being, with the X-Men, it's him dealing with some personal issues, and it's more karate and more samurai. And I always thought that was a real dope aspect of Wolverine's background. And James Mangold, I think James Mangold killed it. A lot of people don't like the third act. I thought it was fine. I hate Bone Claws. Bone Claws are my only complaint with this movie. This was in like my top 5 of 2013. I think. Really curious to see what they do with the third solo Wolverine movie. My only complaint about that, especially after that Apocalypse post-credit scene, but my only complaint about the X-Men series so far is I want to see Omega Red as a villain, and I feel like that's not going to happen for a really long time. At number 8, I got Blade. And I love the first 2 Blade movies, man. Every movie has a different director, but just learning who Blade is and what Blade stands for, half human, half vampire. He can walk in the daylight. They refer to him as Daywalker, and he's like a fiend though. He has to take the serum to calm his thirst to crave blood and shit. And then Steven Dorff was dope as the villain. I don't care what nobody say. And then you had that old nasty ass Jabba the Hutt looking dude that they killed with the UV rays. And Naboosh Wright, man, what happened to her? I don't either Blade or Three Strikes or something was like the last thing I ever saw her in, and she just disappeared. And she was cool as like the sidekick slash love interest. And Blade might be the most underrated, one of the most. That's a good idea for a list. Most underrated comic book movies, because Blade is definitely one of the most underrated comic book movies, which leads me to number 7, which is Blade 2. And Guillermo del Toro came in, and I think they were called the Reapers, and like their mouth split open right here at the chin, and they had this extra set of fangs. And just it was the first movie like cranked up to 1,000, and it was just better, man. Like, as much as I love Blade 2 was so much better. And you had Ron Perlman, he was a douchebag. He had the bomb that was on the back of his head. He was the leader of the team that Blade was working with, and the chick was the daughter of the main bad guy. and like her brother or something was like the leader of the Reapers or something like that. I haven't watched the Blade movies in a long time, but I still love them. I'm not gonna talk about Blade Trinity, though that was like the first of like 27 different Ryan Reynolds comic book roles. But man, like Blade 2, man, Guillermo del Toro put his stamp on that movie hardcore, man. I know, like, I want. There was a rumor a few weeks ago that Marvel might put Blade on Netflix. Now I think like when these movies first came out, Wesley Snipes was perfect as Blade. Now I feel like he's too old, man. He's got to be in his mid 50s, pushing 60. So man, they gotta snatch up somebody like Nate Parker and have him be Blade and put that shit on Netflix and have him interact with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Punisher, whoever else they want to put. Because I also heard that Moon Knight and Ghost Rider were also gonna get a Netflix show. If you're on Facebook, you saw the link to all them stories. But yeah, like the first two Blade movies are severely overlooked. If you haven't seen them, I suggest you go check them motherfuckers out. At number 6, I got the original 2002 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Um, I have significant childhood memories to this movie. I ain't gonna go into it because that's just personal. But yeah, like I don't think I was allowed to go see it, but I went and seen it anyway. Opening night, me and my homeboy was in like the third or fourth row. Coolest shit I had ever seen in 2002. Man, 16 years old. Tobey Maguire, man, embodied Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Um, this in my opinion is Kirsten Dunst's way best performance as Mary Jane. She got so much more irritating as the series went on. Willem Dafoe was perfect. I don't clown the Green Goblin suit and say it looked like a Power Ranger. I ain't gonna say it don't though. J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson, man. I could praise this movie for hours. At number 5, I got X-Men First Class. That's the one that Matthew Vaughn directed. It gives us an origin for Professor X and for Magneto and Mystique, and you get such an attachment. At least I did. I just rewatched this before Apocalypse came out. I just rewatched First Class and Days of Future Past, and you latch on to Professor X and Magneto so tight, man, because they're just Magneto. Like I said in my X-Men Apocalypse review, if you've seen it, Magneto is just a tragic character, and then you get to see like how like Professor X was a little arrogant at first, and it took that incident in Cuba to kind of like mellow him out, I guess. And then Rose Byrne was dope. Like I ranted a little bit in my Apocalypse review about Jennifer Lawrence and how I think she was just cast. Oh, let's get the little girl from Winter's Bone. Hunger Games came out, blew up. Oh, the sequels need way more Jennifer Lawrence, and the original series doesn't feature Mystique that tight. I mean, it's whatever. These three X-Men movies have been the best arc that they've given us because Bryan Singer bailed and didn't do The Last Stand. Those could have been the best three, but these, in my opinion, are the best three. McAvoy kills it. Fassbender kills it. They always add new actors. I got a little minor crush on Rose Byrne, so she was a bright spot in First Class. The way it took place in the '60s, and Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon was super dope, man, as a villain, man. He's honestly an underrated comic book villain. But on to number 4, and number 4 for me is Deadpool. Just came out. Just came out on Blu-ray. I've watched it. Ryan Reynolds is perfect in this role, man. Just the breaking the fourth wall, the way that he basically goats Ajax into fucking with him, and the whole leaked footage, man. I love how they leaked that footage and then put it into the movie. 'Cause, man, like I could gush over this movie like I said about Spider-Man for hours. And he was just perfect, man. The post-credit scene was ridiculous. The reference to the X-Men universe. I will take you to the professor. He said McAvoy or Stewart. These timelines can be so confusing. If they can ever fit Deadpool into an X-Men movie, that would make that even more hysterical. Morena Baccaran, Brianna Hildebrand is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. T.J. Miller was hilarious. Ed Skrine, the dude who just played the Transporter, hated him in the Transporter. He was so dope as the Deadpool villain. As soon as Wade Wilson found out his name, what's my name? And he said, "Oh, I'm gonna spell it out for you." And then he whooped all his dudes and spelled it out on the pavement, like shit like that. And then the reveal that they did that final battle on a helicarrier, but they never said it was a helicarrier, so Disney can't really mess with Fox on that. And then I can't wait for the sequel, man. At number 3, I got X2, X-Men United, and first, that Nightcrawler scene, man. That's the best opening scene in any X-Men movie, hands down. That's the best opening scene in any comic movie, aside from, dare I say, The Dark Knight. You got a little more into the team. I really wish Alan Cumming would have came back and at least been in X-Men: The Last Stand, because I've always loved Nightcrawler as a character. And I didn't think I was gonna like him in Apocalypse, but I really did. And Iceman, like Iceman got a little more shine, and Pyro, and it's just the back and forth between Magneto and Professor X again, and then you get to really learn about Wolverine and the Weapon X, Stryker, and as much as I love the first X-Men movie, man, the X2 just surpasses it on so many levels. Before my number 1 movie, man, it was my favorite X-Men movie. At number 2, I got Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire comes back. He almost got replaced by Jake Gyllenhaal, who, side note, I would love to see Jake Gyllenhaal play some kind of comic character. He could be a dope Riddler. If Affleck could talk him into being in the DC extended universe, Jake Gyllenhaal could be a really dope Riddler in a Batman solo movie. They bring back Kirsten Dunst, who is toying with Peter's heart until the very end. But Peter confesses that he was pretty much at fault for Uncle Ben. Doc Ock is a better villain than Green Goblin. Harry is obsessed with finding Spider-Man because he thinks Spider-Man killed his dad. But if I could go back and talk to Sam Raimi in like 2003, when the script for Spider-Man 2 was being wrote, I would have been like, yo, after Doc Ock is defeated, let them be on the web, hanging out, Mary Jane, Peter, when they drive away on the bike, like they did at the beginning of Spider-Man 3, that's where the symbiote finds Peter. And then he opens Spider-Man 3 with the black suit. But yeah, like this, until Spider-Man Homecoming, man, this is far and away my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. And I'm not even saying Homecoming is going to take the number 1 spot, but this is definitely the best Spider-Man movie ever, with the best Spider-Man villain we've had to date. Talking about it kind of makes me want to watch it. At number 1, if you didn't catch on from what I was talking about, X-Men 2, my number 1 favorite non-MCU Marvel movie is X-Men Days of Future Past. This movie could have been a bag of shit, and it wasn't, man. Bryan Singer with, I guess, crib notes from Matthew Vaughn. The whole time travel thing worked masterfully, and you got like you got the OGs. You got the original X-Men cast with the First Class cast, and then one of my favorite scenes in this movie is young Professor X talking to old Professor X, and he sees like, okay, like this has to happen to fix my future. And just the emotion, how he told Wolverine, "I don't want your future." My accents suck. I'm sorry. That's my McAvoy. Just like in First Class, you feel the emotion from Professor X. You feel the emotion from Magneto. I did my favorite overall comic book movies like last year, probably this month last year. I don't remember where this was on the list. It had to have been top 2 or 3. I might go back and watch that video, so I have to redo it, man. Because like I said, after watching this last week, this movie is epic, man. This was my most anticipated movie of 2014, and it delivered on every level. It ended up being my favorite movie of 2014. So that's it, man. I threw my Punisher fitted on because the Punisher is basically like a guilty pleasure. I wanted to put Punisher on this list, the 2004 Punisher, but I don't think it's better, or I don't enjoy it more than anything else I listed. I haven't seen Punisher Warzone, and the last time I saw the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, I was probably like 4 years old. Like I said earlier, man, what's y'all list, man? No MCU movies, man. The Amazing Spider-Man, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Eric Bana's Hulk, Blade Trinity, Howard the fucking Duck, any of the Punisher movies, any of the Fantastic Four movies. I know none of those movies are really that good, but there are fans of those movies out there. So if you're a fan, give me your list, man. Your favorite overall, top 5, top 10, whatever your flavor. Let me know. I've recently done reviews for The Nice Guys, Angry Birds, Money Monster, Neighbors 2, X-Men, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Check those out, and coming soon I'll have reviews for Ninja Turtles. Hopefully for Popstar. Now You See Me Too, all coming soon. As far as movie talk, when I do the video, I never know what I'm going to do next month. Eventually I want to do my top 10 series. And that would be like stuff that you see on AMC, on HBO, on Showtime, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, stuff like that. I eventually want to do my top 10 favorite sitcoms. I want to revisit a show or two first. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, comment, tag me in your ticket stubs no matter what you going to watch, no matter what social network. Find me where you find me, man. Peace.